All right, here we go. Staycurious.org podcast starting right meow. I am the man on the mic. I'm Hakey, and thank you for tuning in. If you've made it this far or first time listener, welcome. We have an interesting show today. Today is episode 007. So we have half a dozen out and on Spotify, iHeartRadio, just added today, Google Podcasts, and all your normal streaming podcast services. Very exciting to have. Oh, well, thank you, Google. But yeah, that intro song, Mr. Gnome, dear friends, creative folk from Cleveland, Ohio, that is their new single. Midnight Sun that just dropped. I believe that's on a B side from their new latest album. So you can check them out, mrgnomemusic.com. They've been very, very gracious and allowed me to use their music as both inspiration and some intro, intro music to this creative project slash entrepreneurial adventure that we're going on. So big up to Mr. Gnome, and again, check them out. That's their new latest single, Midnight Sun. And here we go. Let's get this pig started. I'm Hakey. Again, like I mentioned, this is episode 007, and we have an interesting show, a fun show. This was one of my favorite shows to put together so far with the, half a dozen or so that we've got out. The episode is 007, and in the spirit of themes and all that good stuff, we're going to kind of use James Bond as a kind of inspiration to stay curious and how to kind of be successful and, the autodidact aspect of success, if you will. So today's episode is strictly about Bond, James Bond. Excuse me. And, we're going to touch on about a dozen or so traits and virtues that the different incarnations of the character have displayed, if you will, over the last 60 years. From a personal standpoint, I know that I played Bond, growing up on the Nintendo 64, the Golden Gun or GoldenEye or whatever that hell was. I spent a lot of hours with buddies and friends just kind of, playing the video game, and Bond has been a cultural icon for 60 years plus. So, we're going to dive into some of his traits and virtues again, and see what we can learn from Mr. Bond. Here we go. But first off, R.I.P. to Sean Connery. He was probably my favorite Bond out there. Not sure who your favorite Bond was. There's been a handful of carnations, different editions, different people that played the character. The career of Bond has spanned over 60 years, and there's probably 26 plus editions of Bond. And probably, this is debatable. He's probably one of the sexiest secret agents out there, hands down. There are a bunch of other different top secret agents is out there. M from James Bond. I think Judi Dench. I forgot what her name is, but she was Bond's boss. I mean, she was legitimately the boss. I mean, what else can you really say? I mean, James Bond was a badass, but I mean, he was reporting to a female, like, even more badass secret agent leader, I guess. You got Jason Bourne, Matt Damon portrayed him, Jeremy Renner, Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise. I'm sure there's some Tom Cruise fans out there. Apparently he's trending in the news lately. He had a meltdown, apparently, on the set of Mission Impossible 20 or whatever the hell they're filming right now. But, to Tom's defense, I mean, he is putting a lot of money out there, a lot of effort to kind of create jobs and, get the, industry back up and running. So say what you will about Mr. Cruise and his Ethan Hunt character. I mean, Godspeed, Tom. You're a great guy. Maybe you'll come on the podcast, hopefully. Who else is out there in terms of top secret agents? There's, I think Jennifer Gardner did one in Alias. I forgot what her name was, Sydney Barstow or Bristow or something. She was a badass. And then, obviously one of my famous female top secret agents. I mean, none other than Dana Scully from the X-Files. I mean, that shit was fire. That was probably one of the best shows on TV. David Duchovny, was up there, but Dana Scully, I mean, by far one of the most badass secret agents out there. But let's be real here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you can come up with another top secret agent beyond Bond, I would love to hear it and have a conversation with you about it. But for the episode, 007 is this episode, so we're going to stick with Bond. So, without further ado, let's get this started. What makes this character so timeless and why he, constantly appeals for both male and female psyches over the decades, is that he's just a badass. I mean, he displays a handful of, quality traits and characteristics that, are just second to none. I mean, he truly is a man of his word and gets shit done. It's fascinating because both male and female audiences identify with Bond as he represents a part of all of us, who we all aspire to be. I mean, we all have our own kind of superhero mode, if you will. And, there's the formula for these movies is quite formulaic, if you will. There's always a global crisis, a villain, a beautiful woman, and a man with innovative machinery who saves the day and gets the girl. Moviegoers are always assured of seeing an epic action adventure with a happy ending. However, there's more attributes that keep us flocking to the cinema to kind of cheer Bond on. And, a lot of it is his character and the traits that he displays. So first up and foremost is the self-awareness and the self-assurance. Bond, this dude is so self-aware. He knows who he is. He's a man and also a secret agent. He has been accused of being a sexist, misogynistic dinosaur, a relic of the Cold War. And while he's admitted there's some truth in this, he did not descend into a wormhole of self-doubt. He accepts these bad elements, if you will, of his character, and he continues to live his life and do the job with self-assurance. He doesn't give a shit, and he doesn't allow criticism to stop him from taking action. And likewise, he doesn't allow ego from hindering his personal evolution. So when you think about Bond, take a moment to consider how self-aware are you and how much self-assurance do you have? Is there room for growth? Ask yourself that. Number two, this dude takes risks. He has the courage to take risks. In the given situations that Bond finds himself in, he has the courage to take risks. Some are relatively small and insignificant, while others are life-endangering and almost death-defying. He relies on his training, his experience, and self-assurance as an agent to make assessments and take risks. While he's not always assured of the outcome, and he has been injured many times, this does not hinder him on his quest. He doesn't decide to give up and throw the towel in and stay at home and ask like 006 or 009 or whoever's like waiting for backup to help him out. So when you're considering your life situations, especially this year, 2020 has been a bitch. Let's get real. So, when you're considering your life situations, take a page from Bond. Are you activating your personal courage to take risks? Are you, kind of digging down and deep and getting that sisu and getting that kind of, grit, if you will? Or are you looking for someone else to kind of bail you out? Things to think about, if you will. Number three, think on your feet. This is one of my favorites. Things typically don't go as planned when Bond sets off to, spoil an evil plot, but he always manages to come out on top. His flexibility and quick thinking allow him to change course when situations veer into uncharted territory. In fact, Bond often appears lucky, but that's not really it. He's creating his own luck. I didn't have a chance to read the book yet, but there's a book out there called The Luck Factor. It's been written, and it was written by a guy named Dr. Richard Wiseman, and he conducted a 10-year study focusing on luck. And he basically found that people can enhance their luck. So next time you're channeling challenged, if you will, channel 007's intuition if you need to switch gears and find a little luck when you get those curveballs thrown out at you. Moving right along here, let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, know your enemy. This is another good one. Like any good practitioner of a game, Bond never ever enters a battle without knowing the intricate details of his enemy. Not just who he is or how he thinks or what he desires, but what he fears and how he can be exploited. For Bond, And most people, sometimes the enemy is quite obvious, while at other times they cleverly hide their ulterior motives. Your enemy could be a business rival, a test, a subject that is seeking your destruction, or even some type of character assassin like addiction, a weakness, or character flaw. Regardless, knowledge is key to victory in any of these areas. Identifying the enemies in your life, learning their ins and outs, and defeating them at every turn is something both Bond understands, and all of us could take a page out of his book and apply it into our lives. Let's see what else we got here. Dominate technology. Now, this is where we're all probably guilty on. Let's be real here. Bond is a man that keeps up with the times. Yes, he is a master of current technology and gadgets, but he's never their slave. You're not going to find Bond spending hours each day frivolously texting away or sporting permanent Bluetooth handset or scrolling Instagram or, Grindr or whatever the fuck app he is, time killer. Wherever Bond is, he is all there, not just constantly sidetracked by his BlackBerry or iPhone 24 or whatever their Apple just released. He uses technology when he needs it and he chucks it to the side when he doesn't. Technology can be a great asset, but like many things, it can often warp into something we can't live without. In doing so, it takes it takes a place in our life that has no business taking. Bond is the type of man that keeps his tech in its proper place, and that place is a place of servitude. So just pay attention to that. I'm for sure guilty of the phone addiction, if you will, in terms of Instagram. Instagram is my guilty pleasure. I mean, I go to my well-being settings here, and I almost shit myself here with the amount of hours that I had spent over the last 2 weeks here. And the reports are staggering. The stats are staggering in terms of this year, especially with COVID and being at home, the amount of screen time that we're getting. And it's not just a single screen; it's the double screen or the triple screen, sitting on the couch with the TV on, your laptop, and your phone all going. So yeah, it's we are slowly, and some people can get dominated by technology, and that's the point. It's a tool, and use it as to serve you, not the other way around. Number 7. Now, this is a good one, and you've heard this probably before and probably the 4 agreements, but being impeccable with your word. James is always impeccable with his word. What he says he will do, he does. He also uses words sparingly. While he is extremely, extremely self-aware and self-assured, he is neither boastful nor disrespectful when talking with others. When threatening an enemy, he states the facts and then follows through. Likewise, he speaks to those around him with respect and clarity. When disagreeing with bosses or villains, he's not drawn into long debates or wasteful words. We do not find Bond losing his cool or losing the plot because he cannot control his tongue. By being impeccable with his word, he exercises one of the small secrets of self-control. And so this leads to the question, are you impeccable with your word, or do you lose your own power because your tongue is too loose? Number 8, I believe. 8 or 9, I don't know. Whatever. Who's counting? Are you? I'm not. Measured and calm, and AKA staying cool. Remember that one time in the last Bond movie where Bond cracked under the intense pressure of his mission? Yeah, me neither. That dude doesn't crack. Life is tough for everyone. So, the ultimate, kind of fucking, oh, what is that? Oh, right now, hello. Anyways, it is tough. Life is tough, but, get over it. Bond has a great inner fortitude to handle things and kind of with confidence and self-control when the world is crumbling around. Part of dealing well with stressful situation is being prepared for them. Bond is able to maintain and remain calm because of his past training and experience. Apart from training and playing, kind of practicing that, there are other forms and tools out there to kind of practice staying calm. Some people want to meditate. Some people want to, kind of go to the gun range or whatever. I mean, there are multiple ways to kind of de-stress and kind of stay calm. But the big thing to take away is, to practice, and practice makes perfect. And staying calm is very, very difficult. I personally have battled with that over the last decade or so. coming from kind of a industry that was kind of very difficult to kind of manage in the construction trades and whatnot, working on some high profile projects. It was tough to kind of stay calm in certain situations when things don't go right and wrong, or kind of go as planned. But the more I practice the Zen, the meditative aspect, the staying calm, and letting go of what it felt like, and just addressing what was happening, I got better at it. And that's part of the whole goal with this project, is to be able to give the tools and provide tools, and at least the direction for you to have that ability to stay calm and stay curious. Let's see what else we got here. Number 10, he gives and receives great loyalty. So this is huge, and this might be a stretch in terms of inspiring your self-directed learning, and fostering that and revitalizing your curiosity, if you will. But James Bond, for all of his sexist and misogynistic ways, is extremely loyal to Queen and country. It's this loyalty that causes him to break the rules when his government refuses to see imminent danger, and it is also this loyalty that his colleagues respond to him in his time of need. He's constantly showing what it means to stick with a cause, even when times are tough and it would be easier to throw in the towel. He does not abandon those in need, often putting his own life on the line for them. While James does not trust many people, he knows that he can trust those closest to him, because he has their utmost loyalty as they have his. What causes are you loyal to? I mean, this is something that we all should be asking ourselves. What are you loyal to? Are you able to stick with it in the tough times, or do you just want to throw in the towel? Hold on, gotta take a quick drink of water. This is a lot of word vomit for this boy. All right, moving on. Authenticity. Now, this is another good one. James Bond has his own unique, authentic style. This is his trademark, and should he stray from his authenticity, we'd all consider him a fraud. He doesn't make excuses for who he is, but carries himself with power and grace. This is a dude comfortable in his own skin and those perfectly tailored suits. I mean, he is pretty dapper, I'm not going to lie. It doesn't matter what Bond. He's always kind of fresh to death, and tailor-made suits, and just, looking fly. How badass would that be to be that type of dude or woman, or just to have that type of confidence and dress for success and dress to kill, if you will. It is pretty entertaining to watch and see. But going back to the authenticity aspect of things, it's like we all know he has faults and unlikable traits, and yet his authenticity is what keeps us liking him and loving him. Should he suddenly start behaving differently, we would all distrust the character and question his motives. But yet, he's always remaining true to himself. So this begs another question. Are you living your authentic life? Are you being another version of who you really are or want to be? This is a question that we should be constantly asking ourselves. From back in the day, from last week to today, ask yourself daily. Are you living an authentic life? That's really what this one-way trip is about. So, ask yourself that a little bit more if you're not already. And if you are, good for you. And maybe check in on those people that you might see that are not, and try to help them kind of get up in the saddle and be their own Bond, if you will. Let's see. Bond also, it has a sense of humor. Through it all, pursuing the villains, chasing the girls, wrecking cars, parkouring all over the fucking place, and injuring that beautiful face of his, in creating the annoyance for MI6 and all those other agencies. He maintains a pretty solid sense of humor. It is often dry and self-effacing, but it's present nevertheless. So this sense of humor is probably his way of not sweating the small stuff, if you will. That can mean anything from narrowly avoiding a nuclear disaster to losing the girl he was chasing. His sense of humor always keeps him in balanced and sustains his ability to bounce back from disastrous situations to keep moving forward. So Another question you can ask yourself from this is when life is not coming up roses for you, are you able to see the sense of humor in or around the situation, or are you taking the drama route and not getting a chuckle out of the experience? I mean, that's really key. Being able to kind of laugh at yourself is huge, is very huge. I mean, it's imperative for success. And that's a practice, and that is very difficult for people to make and participate in. We like to laugh at other people and external things, but being able to laugh at yourself is huge. So if you can do that, laugh at yourself, you're definitely on the right track. And like I said, I've definitely laughed at myself today. Just a couple days ago, I'm laughing at myself. I'm not a good cook by any means. I eat, my diet is like an 8-year-old unsupervised. I mean, it's pretty pathetic for how old I am. But anyways, I'm trying to brown some turkey or ground some turkey, whatever, and my dumb ass, not really kind of cooking regularly, kind of let the fucking ground turkey flop into the skillet here and slipped off, and that little moist packet that was on the bottom portion of this pound of turkey slid into the pan, and it was a fucking circus trying to get this sizzling turkey out of the thing. Plastic is melting, oil is popping all over my face. I'm trying to like get another pan out. I mean, it was total comedy, and I'm laughing at myself the entire time while I'm doing this. And the sad part is that like I was by myself. I should have YouTubed it or videotaped it, because it was pretty fucking pathetic. But nonetheless, I did have a good chuckle after I enjoyed my turkey tacos with plastic. They were delicious, by the way. Yeah, that's probably more information that I should have shared. But nonetheless, plowing forward. One of the last things that Bond is kind of notorious for is finishing what he started. This is huge. This is huge. Anybody can be counted on to complete the mission, whatever it may be. Anyone can start something, but few can consistently finish. And this is where Bond is one of the top-notch dudes in this arena in terms of finishing. He constantly shows us that determination isn't an option, and for success, it's required. I mean, finish strong. Think about the people in your life that you look up to. Chances are they're folks that you can trust to do what they say. There are people we follow, model, and celebrate. For them, how one starts the race isn't nearly as important as how one finishes. When things get hard and go wrong, it doesn't cause them to throw in the towel. It only pushes them harder. In the same way, Bond is a fucking closer. This dude is constantly closing, something for which all of us should strive for. Whether the villain is buried, exploded, imprisoned, or decapitated, a James Bond film always delivers an epic finish. When 007 sets out to hinder an evil plot, he does everything in his power, often going above and beyond the call of duty to get it done. So there you have it. This podcast is going to be quick and simple. We wanted to get one out prior to this weekend. We have another one kind of in the mix, and we're going to record it tonight, but we want to get a quick episode out. And this, like I said, this was just a fun, quick one, focusing on the 007 theme. And, throughout the cinematic history, Bond has definitely been someone to enjoy watching and strive for and root for, if you will. There are obviously a lot of other factors that go into success and, staying on top of your game. But, we thought this would be a fun one to do. It really was fun kind of researching the various articles out there, talking about Bond and what makes him so great. And I'm actually excited to see moving forward how the next couple of installments of Bond unfold. I believe Daniel Craig is kind of going to be, this is his last one whenever that one comes out. And I hope that they switch it up, freshly, if you will. And that's it. So yeah, that's enough about Bond. a dozen or so little traits, if you will. It was fun. We'll post the podcast notes, if you will, and the references in the link if you want to kind of click around and kind of find some, kind of where we're getting our material from. Again, this one was just kind of simple and more fun, and that was it. But moving on from Bond, before we get out of here, today is, Thursday, the 17th of December. If you're listening to this and you've made it this far, I want to thank you personally. We have gotten a lot of downloads in the last couple of weeks with this project, coming up over 1,000 downloads, if you will, in a short amount of a time. And I know there's other podcasts out there that inspire learning and educational podcasts, but it truly is very, very special to kind of see this project kind of getting off the ground and seeing the participants, seeing, the listener, you participate in this and build a brand and engage yourself. This is a passion project turned entrepreneurial adventure. I've said it time and time again, and it's balls to the wall now, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to be doing more podcasts. We're going to put out more content. We are making baby steps daily. We are on Spotify. We are on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. Just got added to iHeartRadio today, which was huge. We're working on submitting our podcast, the podcast, to Amazon. And we are submitting it to Pandora. So we're building out the ways to get the podcast, and that is going to be a work in progress. New update though, we did just get in some new swag. We got some vinyl decals with the thinking monkey, if you will, that we're going to be packaging up with the bands. So if you're new to this, this project again is 100% funded by you. And myself. So we don't have corporate sponsors. We don't have anybody kind of, pulling strings or needing to advertise. We're going to try to get and dabble into the affiliate marketing with Amazon. So if anybody out there has experience with that, please drop a DM or come to our contact page and send an email. But, I am definitely grateful for anybody that's listening and supporting this. But again, this project, 100% funded by you. We're not obligated to the pressures of advertisers or corporate sponsors. It's completely crowdfunded and supported by you, the listener. The content is made how we want it, how I want it, with the influence of people that kind of participate. And we're constantly trying out and, new ways to get material to you, new products without bias. And we're going to continue to create on our own terms and our own design. So anything, contribution-wise goes directly to supporting the brand, content curation, and of course, being able to keep this project a work in progress as an educational tool from both myself and anybody that wants to get involved. Other than that, I think that's it. We got 13 days, 14 days before the end of the year. So I hope if you're listening to this, you are enjoying a COVID Christmas, spending some time with your friends and family as much as you can, enjoying this year. It's been tough for everybody. And, from a personal level, it has been very, very difficult for me. And I truly am blessed and thankful for if you're listening to this. It means a lot, and I don't know what else to say. Thank you, and we have more to come. We have a lot more to come. It's going to be a lot more fun coming up in 2021. We have a lot more kind of episodes sketched out and have some more guests coming on. Some everyday people. Like I said, this project is not sponsored by anybody. It is strictly grassroots, and it's going to stay that way for as long as we can, as long as I can manage it. And so it means a lot to have everyday people on and talking to the everyday people of how they're learning, and the parents, the teachers, the students. This is where the fun is. It's fun sitting across here and having a conversation with a friend or local artist and talking about how they're striving. So I am not the most technologically savvy dude. So, we are going to try to get some Zoom meetings and some other ways to kind of connect with people and have them on the podcast, moving forward with the video and other, IGTV, etc. But yeah, all of that, more to come. And that's the beauty of it. We don't have that's the beauty about a brand, is that it is kind of whatever we want to do, whatever I want to do, and whoever wants to play. Whoever wants to come play with Heike, that's basically what we're asking here. So again, if you do have stumbled across this podcast, please check out staycurious.org. Go to the contact page and drop me a note. DM me on IG. Find a way to contact me. You have multiple ways to do it. I'm going to answer. It is just me. There's no automatic replies. It's just me. So I will probably end it here. So that's it. 007 Bond. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's it. Check out Mr. Gnome Music, and we'll talk to you soon in 008. I don't know who I don't know who's gonna. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, ciao.